So I hope you enjoyed that video that my husband did. He's not really much of a talker, so when he has to talk even on video he gets so nervous. He doesn't answer the phones if he doesn't know. I mean, if it's his family he'll answer, but if it's like my family or my friends or whatever, he won't answer the phone. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that video. That's just going to be a one-part video. That was just a fun video. I noticed a lot of people do, and I just thought it would be fun to see what he would do because I've never let him touch my makeup or my face. So on a personal note, I just wanted to talk to you just for a couple minutes, so the video's not too long, about a skin condition that I have. I was supposed to put it up, I think it was a week ago, and something got mixed up on the video editor. Something happened and it got all mixed up and I had to delete it. But what I would like to share with you is something similar to what that video was about. And I wanted to talk with you today about psoriasis and people that suffer with psoriasis. For me, the psoriasis started when I was about 5 or 6 years old. I can remember because I had it on the insides of my arms right here, where your skin is so sensitive anyways. And I remember just having a lot of blotchy, patchy, red, raw skin on my arms. And I remember this cream. It came in like a philosophy cream jar, and it had a black lid. That's why it reminds me of the Philosophy line. And it was cream the doctor gave my mother for my psoriasis on my arm. And I remember her putting that on my arm, and it burnt a lot. And I think what it was trying to do was maybe just dry up my skin from it being so raw. But when I remember being younger and wanting to help my mom and wanting to do the dishes, and I remember rolling like a hassock. They called it a big round hassock up to the counter of the kitchen because I was too small to reach the sink. And I remember having my arms kind of sitting on that sink, before the bowl of the sink, and it being wet, and my arms sitting there in the wetness, and it burning and just irritating the heck out of my skin. And I remember that really vividly because I remember how much it burnt and how much it stung. And then I don't know when it went away, but it ended up going away. As you can tell, I have nothing on my arms, nothing at all. And it went away for a really long time until I hit high school. And in high school, I noticed I was getting like flakes in my hair, and I had never in my life had dandruff. In fact, I used to wash my hair every day. And I went to the dermatologist and I had psoriasis. It had actually attacked my head and no other part of my body, just my scalp. And so she told us to try tea tree oil and the tar smelling stuff, and nothing helped. It was just raw, and then it would dry up and crust. And if any of you know anything about psoriasis, it can be embarrassing, but it can also be it's painful. So none of that stuff worked. And I remember going back to the dermatologist, and in like a couple years later, really trying to give that tea tree oil. And I remember my grandmother giving me some mink oil. It was in a little tiny bottle, and it was mink. It was pure mink. Nothing seemed to help. And so when I got out of high school, I went back to the dermatologist, and she gave me some, it's called clobetasol propionate. And it comes in a squeeze bottle, and it's 0.05% alcohol. And putting that on my scalp, at first, of course it burns, but it dries it up, and by the next morning, it just, of course you have to go through the flakiness of the dandruff and stuff. But if if I dye my hair a certain boxed color, the Olea doesn't do it, the Manic Panic doesn't do it, but if I do like the Faria from L'Oreal, my head breaks out in a psoriasis mess like you wouldn't believe. It burns, it hurts, and it's disgusting. I wake up in the morning, my hair is goopy. It's gooped together because of it oozing. And once it oozes and it gets on some other part of your skin, it will spread. It'll spread. So I try to stay away from those color systems on my hair. And of course, when I get the psoriasis, I will put the propionate on it. And I actually have had a little piece, if you can see it, I still have red from yesterday, but there's just a little piece of psoriasis here. And I think I notice a lot that certain times of the year my psoriasis break out really bad, and also if I'm stressed. If I'm stressed, actually my psoriasis will come out on my head and will also kind of start coming out on my face. And last week I had a patch, and it's not there anymore, but I had a dry red patch right here coming down my face. And of course you can't use that clobetasol on your face, and I'll tell you why. About 8 years ago, I had psoriasis on my face, and it started coming down to my eyelids, or well, my eyelids, under my eyes, and my eyelids right here. And you know how thin that skin is, and it burnt and it hurt so bad, and when I used makeup it would make it worse. So I had this really bright red stuff on my eyelids, and I thought, well, you know, the clobetasol takes such good care of my scalp, I'm going to go ahead and put it on my around my eye area with a Q-tip. Well, it burnt like no tomorrow. I mean, it burnt so bad, but it went away. The next day it was gone, and I mean, there was just a little remnant that I could just kind of go like this with my fingernail and the skin would come right off. 2 days later, I woke up and the psoriasis came back and had actually multiplied down around my nose. And so I thought, you know, I'm thinking, okay, I've got to handle this stress, whatever stress I was dealing with at that time. So I got a little bit more of the clobetasol propionate, and I put it on the cotton ball, and I just kind of tapped it. I didn't rub because it was raw. I just tapped it around my spots, and it went away the next day. And of course, you know, you just the dry skin's just sitting there like real loose, so you just kind of flick it away and you're fine again. And then a couple days later it came back and spread even more. Well, that was the time when I thought, okay, something's not right here. There is something going on to where the clobetasol is taking it away, but it's now like attacking my face. So I called the dermatologist and I told her what was going on, and she asked me what I had been putting on my face, and I told her that I had been putting a little bit of the clobetasol on my face with a Q-tip, and she said that clobetasol is a steroid. And I, back then I pay much more closer attention now to medication because of my daughter, and so now I know any medication, I get them on the computer looking it up. And from this experience, was not a fun experience. Anyways, my whole face ended up breaking out in one huge psoriasis. My whole face. My face, down parts of my neck right here. My whole face was red, was raw, was cracked, was dry, was bleeding, and I had white little pimples. Well, actually they weren't little, they were big, whiteheads all over my dry spots, my raw spots, what have you. They weren't pimples, it was my skin withdrawing from a drug that was a steroid. And it went through withdrawal for a good 2 months. There was nothing I could do about it. She said it just had to go through the withdrawal. She said the name for it, she called it, was perioral dermatitis. And I was embarrassed. I wouldn't go out of the house. I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't put makeup over it. It looked worse when you put makeup over it because, I mean, there it is. The makeup's not covering anything. It just accentuated that you had makeup on and didn't cover the red and just made it worse, the rawness and everything. So the only thing that I could use for 2 months was the Cetaphil cleansing lotion, and that was it. I couldn't use water on my face, so what I would do is I would just put the Cetaphil on my face and just pat it off with not even a moist towel, with a dry towel, and just let the rest of it soak in my face. And it would soak in so fast that it was like I never put anything on my face. It was so dry, it absorbed it like that. So that's how I went for a couple months. It just happened to be that my son was baptized a month after I got this, and so I was right in the middle of handling it on my face, and I had to go to his baptism. There was no way in the world I would ever miss that, and I ended up going with nothing on my face because I couldn't. And I remember trying to hide from the cameras and the photos because we had family there, and someone did get a photo, and I'm sorry I can't show you that. I ripped it up and threw it away. I was so upset. My face looked like a red balloon. It was so red and ugly and sore. And so after I went through that, my skin has never been the same. I've always had sensitive skin. It's become more sensitive. It's become more dry. And now, whenever I start to stress and I get a little bit of psoriasis coming down on my face, I use a plain old hydrocortisone over the counter that you can get, and I put just a tiny little film of it on my finger, and just really lightly go across the psoriasis. And the next morning, it takes a couple times of it to heal, but it heals and it doesn't come back. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, for everybody out there that suffers with some type of psoriasis, I know of some people that have it on their legs, and they go water skiing or they go out in the water and their legs look so raw and bloody and hurting, and they don't take care of it, and it's awful looking. It hurts so bad. And I just want to tell you, you're not alone. I'm thankful that it's on my scalp. Of course, when I go to the hairdresser, I've been with the one that I have for a while, but if I go to a new one, I have to explain, that's not dandruff in my hair. It's almost like I think they're afraid to touch me because they think maybe I'm unclean. And it's like, that's not dandruff in my hair, I have psoriasis. And they're like, oh, it's okay. And I'm thinking in my head, it's really not okay. It's not okay with me. But it's something that I live with, and maybe one day it'll go away like it did on my arms. But if you're a sufferer with psoriasis, please take care of it. Please take care of yourself, because it can spread so fast. It can go from your arms to your stomach in a day. I mean, you can wake up and it can be that fast. Or if it's oozing and you touch a different part of your body, it will end up starting from the area that ooze touched. It's awful stuff. So I know that there's pills out now. Mine isn't bad enough to have to take pills. I just use that little bottle of clobetasol that the doctor prescribes me, and the little, a little thing of Motrin. Yeah, Motrin. Oh my gosh, here I go again, just like yesterday. Please, not Motrin. A little bottle of the hydrocortisone. Where did I get Motrin from? I have no idea. Sometimes my mind's off in Lululand. So anyways, I just wanted to share that with you. It's one of my things that I wanted to share with you. And if you like this video and you find it helpful, please click the like button, the thumbs up button, and click subscribe if you're not a subscriber yet. I would absolutely love for you to be a subscriber of mine. Every time I get a new subscriber, I do like the happy dance in the room. I'm so happy. I never thought that I would make it this far. I've been thinking for over a year of doing a YouTube channel, and I've just been kind of like, well, what would people see in me? What would they want to see in me? I mean, you know, I'm like the rest. I'm not anything special, but I guess 25 of you think that maybe I am. So, and that makes me feel so good about myself. It just gives me such a boost. And so, like I said, I hope you enjoyed the video. And my daughter is hiding behind me. I can't go anywhere without her. She's like my little Band-Aid. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.